Rain was pouring down hard that night. The parking lot was empty, except for her. She stood there in silence, one hand clutching the letter that ruined everything she'd worked for. Her eyes weren't crying anymore. She was past that. What lived inside her now was colder, sharper. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. They demand a reckoning. He thought he could destroy her and walk away. He had no idea what was coming next. 2 years ago, Emma joined the company with nothing but ambition and hope. She believed in hard work, loyalty, and building something real. She stayed late, skipped weekends, and helped everyone. Even her boss, Richard, used to tell her, "You're the future of this company." She believed him, every word. But trusting the wrong person was the most expensive mistake of her life. Emma spent months building a project that could change the company's entire direction. Her name was supposed to be on that stage, not anyone else's. It was her idea, her blood, sweat, and every late night. But the day of the big presentation, everything changed. The lights were bright, the board members were watching, and Richard walked in with a confident smile. And then, her project appeared on the screen. But it didn't have her name. It had his. Her heart didn't break in that moment. It froze. The applause, the congratulations, the promotion, all went to him, the man who smiled at her face while stabbing her in the back. She didn't cry, she didn't scream. She learned something that day. Monsters don't always hide in the dark. Sometimes they wear tailored suits and fake smiles. That was the moment the old Emma died, and a new one was born. The days that followed were quiet. Emma showed up to work like nothing happened. She greeted Richard like before. But behind that calm smile, she was collecting every piece of proof she could find. Every email, every voice memo, every draft file that tied her work to him. And then she found something she didn't expect, something that would turn the game around. Richard had a secret, a dirty one. A fake investment deal he'd been hiding from the board, rerouting funds to cover it up. He thought no one would ever know. But Emma did. She didn't rush. Revenge isn't about noise. It's about timing. He took her dream in one night. She was about to take everything from him in return. She sent an anonymous email to the board, just enough evidence to make them suspicious, not enough to trace it back to her. Then she sat back and waited. Day after day, she watched his confident walk turn into anxious steps, his easy smile fade, his temper slip. He was crumbling, slowly. And then came the day. Richard was called into the boardroom. No one knew what was going on, but whispers spread like wildfire. Emma sat at her desk, pretending to type, as the man who once stood on a stage with her work walked out pale and broken. The same hallway where he once walked like a king became the place of his downfall. Hours later, security escorted him out of the building. No applause, no sympathy, just silence. The same silence she'd lived in for weeks. He stole her promotion. She stole his empire. But life doesn't always hand out fair endings. The company didn't crown her as the next VP. They didn't even say her name. They replaced him with someone else. Someone more experienced. She won the war, but the world still pretended she never existed. Emma packed her desk the next week. No farewell party, no goodbye hugs, just a cardboard box and the sound of rain tapping against the windows. She walked out of the same building that once held her dreams, with nothing but the satisfaction of knowing he'd spend the rest of his life paying for what he did. And that was enough. Not every revenge ends with a crown. Some end in ashes, but ashes still burn. This wasn't her defeat. This was her silence, louder than any scream.